So looking at question number 1A, it says there are 3 sevens, so that means there are 7 equal parts, and we're only looking at 3 out of the 7. 3 out of the 7, that's what, 3 sevens. So how do we convert this into a decimal? If you type this into your calculator, and we're not going to do long division, okay, that's not the purpose of this class. So on our calculator, we're going to go 3 divided by 7. Okay, so 3 divided by 7. 3 divided by 7. Now, we're going to get into a number here that it's 0.42857, and then a whole bunch of numbers after. But then we have to round to 2 decimal places. So how do we round to 2 decimal places? Yeah, 140. Yeah. So if we look at this one, that's good. Thank you. We're going to go up to 2 decimal places. We're going to look at the third one. And if this third one is 5 and up, any numbers that's 5 and up, we're going to round it up to 43. One more. Okay? So that's why it's called rounding up. So that's equal to 0.43. Okay. And then we just leave it like that because there's no unit involved in this. It's just the numbers, right? What about the letter B? Same thing, 13 out of 5. 13 over 5. So 13 divided by 5. So yeah, the same thing. So 13 divided by 5. Okay, we're going to get 2.6. And it says here, round off to 2 decimal places when necessary. So you can just put 2.6 for this, or if we want to write it to 2 decimal places, what would it look like? 2.60. Excellent. Excellent. Let's take a look at number 1C. It says here, this is called, when you have numbers 3 and 4 nines, what is this called again?
Whole number.
You get a whole number and a little bit, so it's called the mixed numbers, right? Mixed number or mixed fraction. So how do we do this? This is going to be slightly different. So how do we do this one?
Bracket 3 plus 4 divided by 9 equals.
Right, right. So yeah. So this one here, if you can put the brackets, you can tell the calculator it's one whole thing, but because there's no other operation, you can just leave it. Yeah. Like that. So that's 3 plus 4 nines. 3 plus 4 nines. So 3 plus 4 divided by 9. Now, this one, we're going to get into some rounding issues, right? Because we have to do some rounding. What would that round off to?
3.44.
3.44. Excellent. So round it off to 2 decimal places. You look at the third one. If it's 5 or more, we round up to 45. If it's not, then leave it as 44. So it's going to be 3.44. What about letter D? How do we do this part?
Minus 23 divided by 14.
Okay. Negative 22 over 14. So that's negative 22 divided by 14. Again, this is going to be negative 1.571428. Rounding it off to 2 decimal places. 2 decimal places here. I'm gonna look at the next number, the third number. Yep, not enough. So it's gonna be just negative 1.57. And then last but not the least, letter E, 18 and 5/12. 18 plus 5 divided by 12. Excellent, excellent. Okay, so it's going to be 18 and a little bit. 18 plus 5 divided by 12. Okay, so we're going to get 18.4166, a whole bunch of 6, and then a 7 at the end. So 18.416, something like that. And how can we round this off? 2 decimal places, it'd be 18.42. Excellent. Excellent. Okay, are there any questions about that at this time? Okay. Good. So looking at question number 2. Okay, so if there's no question, let's move on to number 2. It says here, putting them in order from smallest to largest. Now it's kind of hard to do that with just a fraction. So the one way of doing this is to change everything into decimals. And once we have the decimal values, we can figure out which one is the smallest and then up to the largest. Okay, so here 2/5, 2 divided by 5, we know how to do that. That's going to give us 0.4. or 40 if you want to do 2 decimal, keep it 2 decimal places. What about 1/3? That's one common one. 0.33. Excellent. 6/11. Negative 6/11 is negative, oh sorry, not negative, 0.55. Okay, why is it 0.55 again? Because we had to do a little bit of rounding, and if we do 6/11, 6 divided by 11, this is what it's going to come up to, 0.545454. So we had to round off to 55. And then last but not the least, 5 divided by 13, it's going to be 0.38. Excellent. 0.38. Okay, now that we have them all in decimal values, which one do you think is going to be the smallest? Yeah, so this is 0.33, and that's a 1/3. So from smallest is 1/3. Okay, what's the next one? This is 0.33, so think of it as like 33 cents. Okay, the next one would be 38 cents, right? Or 5/13. Okay, so these two are done. And what's the next one? 2/5, yeah, 2/5. And then last but not the least is 6/11. Is that matching up with your work? Okay. Anybody has a question? Okay. Let's take a look. Last question. This is the last one that you are responsible for last night or yesterday. This one, using our calculator to evaluate the following. The word evaluate means what is the value of all that stuff, right? The word evaluate, that's what it means. And answer the following to 2 decimal places. So 3/4 plus 1/4. So how do we do that on our calculator? So 3 divided by 4 plus 1 divided by 4. Okay? And then we're going to get 1. We get 1 here. Okay, now let's take a look at question number 3B. Let's take a look at question number 3B. So 5 minus 2/3. Okay, so how would you type that into your calculator?
5 divided by 2 divided by 3.
Yeah, 5 take away 2 divided by 3. Okay, so what's the answer for that one? So 5. So 4.3333 repeating, right? So 5. So you would type that as 5 minus 2 divided by 3. And we're going to get 4.33. What's the next one? How would you type that into our calculator?
Bracket 1 plus 4 divided by 5 bracket equals
1 plus 4 divided by 5. Okay, yeah. It's okay to put the brackets there showing that this is together. Okay, so that's good. You could do with or without in this case. So what's the answer for this one? 1.8 or 1.80 if we were to keep to 2 decimal places. Letter D on page 17, letter D. So how do we do that on our calculator? Now, if I take a look at this, this is a fraction plus this is a mixed number. So what I can do, I could put the brackets showing my calculator. That's just one whole thing. That's one whole thing. So go ahead and how would you type that in?
3 divided by 5 plus bracket 2 plus 1 divided by 2 bracket equals.
Excellent. So 3 divided by 5, that deals with the 3/5, and then plus putting it inside the brackets of mixed fractions of 2 1/2. So what's that equal to? Let's try that on my calculator, okay? So 3 divided by 5 plus 2 1/2, so 2 plus 1 divided by 2 is 3.1. So 3.1. Or 3.10 to keep the 2 decimal places. What operation is in here? Anybody? What operation is this?
Division.
Okay, 1/2. What does the brackets tell us? 1/2 is being
Bracket.
the brackets, yeah. The 2 brackets indicates what? Times multiplication. Okay. Now some calculators could recognize brackets as an operation, multiplication operation. So that's okay. We could do that. If your calculator doesn't recognize brackets as multiplication, you would have to put the times at the end. So this one here is multiplying those 2. Let's see if my calculator does that. Okay, so I go brackets 1/2, 1 divided by 2, and then brackets 14. Let's see if my calculator does it. Oh, okay. my calculator recognizes that brackets is multiplication. Okay? So this is going to be 1 divided by 2, or I got to put the brackets, times, or brackets 14. You got 7. Is there anybody here whose calculator doesn't recognize brackets as a multiplication? Yeah, I thought so, right? So for you, if it doesn't recognize a multiplication, put the X, like multiplication symbol. Okay. Last but not the least, certainly is this. How do we deal with this? 20 divided by. Okay, so 20, and then we gotta put the brackets. 1 divided by 2. Okay. What did it equal to? 20 divided by brackets 1/2. 40. Okay, now, yeah, so take a look. Yeah. We have to put the brackets there. Yeah. 20 divided by 1 divided by 2, close brackets. Now, you got a different one? Okay. Okay. Take a look. 20 divided by brackets 1/2. Is yours okay? 20 divided by brackets 1 divided by 2.
Why don't we get 10?
You get 10 as well? You get 10 as well? Okay, okay. So I think I'll go in the middle. Where we go. So I have to go 20 divided by bracket 1 divided by 2. Close bracket. And that equals. Yeah, we gotta put the bracket. So you go 20 divided by open brackets 1 divided by 2. Close brackets. Okay, so give it time to see if it works. And yeah, that was a little bit tricky, right? And we're thinking, oh, if we forget the brackets there, it does make a difference. So, now I just want to explain why 20 cut in half gives us 40. Does anybody have an explanation for that? We've already explained. Does anybody have an explanation?
The brackets multiply?
Hmm?
The brackets multiply?
Yeah, the brackets, this one here, the brackets here, we know we put the brackets as multiplication, but then there's a division here. So the brackets there is just using the 1/2. Okay.
So basically putting it 20 times 2 equals 40
Yeah, we're,
in short form?
yeah, okay. There's a rule, maybe you've heard of this way back when you were learning this before, that when you're dividing by fraction, it's the same thing as multiplying the reciprocal. Reciprocal is flipping the numerator and denominator. Now, I don't want to show you the rule. I don't want you to memorize the rule, but I'll show you something. Here, this is what it is. So let's say we got 20 chocolate bars. 20 chocolate bars. 20 chocolate bars. And you cut it, you divide it, split it equally in half. So I got 20 chocolate bars. I'm going to cut each chocolate bar in half. How many pieces would you get? 40. Because we learned every single one got cut in half. So those 20 becomes 40. That's one, right? That's the reason why. And I don't want you to think about, the rules multiplying the reciprocal, but that's basically what it is. So when I have 20 chocolate bars, I'll 3, 4, 5, Is that 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I gotta do 20. There's 20 of them. And then each one, I divide it into halves. I cut it into halves. Okay, so now I cut each one in halves. How many pieces are there now? There's 2 in here. You're gonna make 2 there because you cut it in half, and another 2 and another 2. So that's all 40 in total. Okay, 40 altogether. Okay, so that we've spent a little bit of time on covering questions 1, 2, and 3, and this is really one of, I think everything is pretty much important, but I want to make sure that we are pretty solid in this, and I think you are, based on how you are participating and answering questions and asking questions as well. Okay, so I'll keep it like this. Now, what's our next part? Oops. I'm just gonna pause this because we're done with the notes on this one.